Hey everybody, welcome back to Kim Ellis Creates. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to talk about a really fun activity that I do at the end of every year in preparation for the next year. So it's my 2025 brainstorming bubble map. And what's a bubble map? Come along and I'll show you. What are your goals for 2025? I know a lot of people have goals in their head, but maybe they struggle to put them down on paper and also to make them a reality. So before we dive in, let's start with a quote from Bob Goff, author of Love Does. He says, "I used to be afraid of failing at something that really mattered to me, but now I'm more afraid of succeeding at things that don't matter." Today, I'm going to show you how to create a bubble map so that you can dream big and plan your goals for 2025. So grab some markers, some paper, and let's get started. So for me, Bob Goff's quote hit home because for a long time, and I share that in my very first video, fear can overtake us for lots and lots of things. And sometimes we feel like we're bogged down in the what ifs. What do I need to do to accomplish this goal? I need to do this and this and this and this, and it can get overwhelming and mind-shattering, and we feel like, forget it, I'm just gonna get my blanket and I'm gonna roll up on the couch and binge Netflix, and everyone can leave me alone and I won't get anything accomplished. And so for me, I started this bubble mapping, brainstorming years ago. I had some paper from one of my tutoring students, and so I had these big rolls of paper, and I took the opportunity one day just to say, what are my dreams? At this time, I had not published even my first book, and I got out my big piece of paper and I laid it down. I had lots of different colorful markers, and I just started with one bubble. Well, I call myself an illustrator. I illustrate, but what have I published? How do people know that they know I'm an artist, but they don't know I'm an illustrator? So I put down one of my goals for that year was to publish a book. So to publish a book, there's a lot of steps that are involved with that. Now for me, for my first book, I already had the manuscript ready. But then I had to go forward and I had to do thumbnails and I had to do drawings and I had to do color comps, and I had to figure out who was going to publish my book. There was a lot of things that I just didn't know. For example, media. I remember the first time someone asked me for a media release. Okay, Google. I Googled real fast. What is a media release? Because I'd never done that before, and I didn't understand that once I even just had the book, not to scare anybody, but once I had the book uploaded and ready to publish and even in my hands, now what do I do with it? So the first step is to write down everything you want to accomplish in 2025. Now, you can go crazy. Your map can be very, very large. It doesn't have to be. It can be smaller, and that's okay. It's just up to you. But I think for me, in this first step, I didn't limit myself. I didn't have any judgment calls on myself and say, how are you doing that? Because that at this brainstorming stage can get you caught up. I don't want to think about that at this stage. What I want to do is I want to just make ideas. And I'll tell you, my first one had publish a book. And years ago, I had one bubble that even said YouTube. And I think I had it for a couple years, and I sat on it and I didn't start it because it feels intimidating. But now here I am in front of you, 7 months strong, many videos later, and I hope that I can keep going and keep making videos for you guys that you like. So that all came from a bubble years ago, just this little bubble idea where I said YouTube, where if you'd asked me years ago, I wrote it down, but I wasn't convinced that I could do it. But that's not the point. The point is to dream. If you ask a child what their dreams of when they get older, most children are honest. Most children are hopeful. Most children will share all kinds of things, and they don't think about how they're going to get to the moon, for example. They just know, I want to be an astronaut and I want to go to the moon. And it's that simple. Now, of course, there's a lot of things that go into that, but dream. So take this opportunity, and you don't have to show this to anybody but yourself, but dream big, put those bubbles down. Again, I could have thought to myself, I'll never do YouTube, and not put that bubble down. But here I am, because it took me a couple years, but that's okay. It was a dream, and I was able to make it a reality in time. So step number 1 is to write down lots and lots of bubbles. But then as we delve into step 2, we're going to categorize those bubbles. So you might branch out into career, personal growth, family, health, hobbies, art goals that you have. And once you have those separated, and you might even do this by different colors, once you have those separated, then you can take step number 3. So step number 3 is to make all of those bubbles, break them down into actionable steps. So for example, if, say I want to lose weight, my goal might be to lose 10 pounds. How am I going to do that? I could wish it away. That would be great. But I can make actionable steps. But 3 days a week, I'm committed. I'm committed to getting up. I'm committed to exercising, and that works best for me. So I might make a little sub bubble across from my main bubble of losing 10 pounds. I might make a little sub bubble that says exercise 3 times a week. Now off of that little bubble, I might say, well, okay, so 3 times a week, what does that mean? Is that 5 minutes? Is that 20 minutes? And maybe I make it my goal to do 20 to 30 minutes each session. So in total, I'm doing maybe almost up to an hour of workout during that week. And also maybe from that sub bubble of losing weight, I need to look at, what am I eating? And I know that's a big goal for a lot of people, a New Year's resolution a lot of people have, but I can ask myself, okay, well, how am I going to concretely put this into place? So now that I have this goal, I can make another goal outside of that main bubble that says, I want to eat better. And I have a really bad Coke Icy addiction. So maybe I tell myself, okay, you can have that once a week. Maybe less, but for me right now, for the goal, maybe I just have that once a week. And so that will limit that and hopefully slow down my sugar intake a little bit. I've been doing better in general, but I can have that actionable goal that over time, compounded, should help me to make better choices and also to be healthier and hopefully to lose that 10 pounds. It will definitely support that goal. So that's a way to break down all of those main bubbles into littler bubbles and then actionable steps from there to break it down into a timeline. So I can have all of these goals. For me, YouTube, I wanted to start it in May. I had the idea back in a couple months before. I had done some artwork for a dance academy, and they had asked me to do a YouTube video, a video that they could upload to YouTube. And once I started that, I said, I really want to see if I can do this on my own. And the first step was recording and seeing if I was even comfortable on camera. And I do feel pretty comfortable enough to speak to you, my friends. But I had to take that first step. So I had to have a timeline, and for me, I knew that YouTube really likes it when you post at least once a week, or at least on a regular basis. So I had to figure out a schedule, but I had to have a timeline of when I was going to start. So there were lots of things that I had to do to make it to you. So it just didn't magically happen. It matters to have a timeline because a lot of times we'll drift. We will just say, I'll do that tomorrow. Again, those who fail to plan to fail. So for me, I know, for example, with this book, and I've shared this many times, but if you're new to me, I have a book that will be coming out next fall. How do I know that? Unless something random happens, I have a timeline that sets me up for success. So a timeline that in a couple weeks from now, I will have some thumbnails ready for my author to review. And after that, once those are approved, I will start doing the sketches. And then after that, I will do the artwork and then the graphic design and all of that. And I will share that in further videos. If you're interested in publishing a book, I can guide you along. And if you think about it, a year from now, what will you have accomplished? This simple exercise can be the first step in making your dreams become a reality. There's a story that my husband shares that he was hesitant to go back to college. He was 21 years old, and he felt like he was behind. He thought he was just starting too late, and my father-in-law shared some wisdom with him. He said, in 3 years, you're going to be 3 years older either way, whether you do college or not. That advice changed everything for him, and it can for you too. So my prayer is that this bubble map, this simple exercise that you can do at the end of each year or wherever you're at, if you're watching this video maybe in April, it can still relate to you. So you can make the bubble map and say, what are my goals for the next 12 months? And what can you do with that afterwards? You can share it if you want, or you can keep it private if you want. For me, I started my Facebook account so that I would be able to share with the world what I was doing, but also to kind of keep myself accountable. At the time, I only posted once a week, and now I post 5 times a week. But when I was posting, I said to myself, what will I have to show in the next week? What will I have to show my friends, my families, my followers? What will they see? And so for me, it kept me accountable. So I might not share my whole bubble map with everyone. I can share some bits of it with you, but it's my own motivation. So you might put it in a journal. You might put it somewhere where you see it often. Maybe you make it colorful and wonderful and beautiful, and you want to have it up kind of like a map. And that's cool too. Whatever will motivate you, but even if you keep it somewhere secret and look at it every so often, which is kind of what I do. I put it in the bottom of my art drawer, and I'll refer to it at times, and I'll scratch off, hey, I've accomplished this. And it gives me a feeling of satisfaction to know that I'm in the driver's seat to help myself and my career goals and my relationship goals, whatever goals I've put down, that I'm in the driver's seat, that I know, hey, I do have a destination that I'm going towards. And again, like I said, I'm not trying to put myself in the place of God and saying this will definitely happen, but I'm setting myself up for success by saying, I do have the tools, and if I don't have the tools to accomplish what I want to accomplish, I'm going to find a way to get those tools. So I'm hoping that this bubble map idea will be a source of inspiration for you, that it will not overwhelm you, not make you sad, but give you, again, directions. Just like a map gives us directions for where we want to go. None of us know what 2025 will have in store for us, but we can help direct our actions, our activities, ultimately to accomplish some of our dreams. Because I know each and every one of you watching has at least one dream that you would love to accomplish. And my encouragement is to get started. To even this map is a big, huge thing. You might think, oh, bubbles, what's that going to help me? But again, it helps small steps to fall in line with the direction that we want to go. And I really hope that 2025 is a great year for you. Thank you for subscribing. I hope you guys can like, and I hope you guys can share. And if you haven't subscribed, please do that. I like to be able to join in and talk with you each week. And I love your comments, so please keep them coming. If you have any questions about the bubble map, feel free to drop them below, and I will answer each and every one of them. And I will see you next time. Bye.